Have you ever wondered what someone means when they say your data is in the cloud? Well, I'm Aiden Wagner, and today I want to teach you guys more about cloud computing, what it really means, and how it works. So what is cloud computing? So when someone says something is in the cloud, basically they're saying it's being stored on internet servers instead of your actual hard drive on your computer. Basically, everything you can access remotely on the internet is in the cloud. So it's used as a utility in businesses and anywhere around the world. It transforms your IT infrastructure into a utility, basically. Basically, what you're doing is you're plugging into the infrastructure via the internet using off-premises resources as opposed to on-the-premises resources. So anywhere not actually at your business. Info can be stored using computing resources not in a local area. So through wireless computing, all of this can be done. Information can be transported and stored wirelessly as opposed to inside your actual computer. How does cloud computing work? The cloud is basically a metaphor for the internet. Internet, as we all know, is a lot of the time it's displayed as actually a cloud picture, a picture of a cloud. Your resources, your software, and your information can be transported through this network or through the internet. It's hosted by a cloud services provider or a CSP. It's hosted by these CSPs at a remote data center, so somewhere away from where you are right now. It can be stored on a physical server, such as a actual physical computer server, or it can be held on a virtual server. So we'll get more into that later. So everything is managed by the provider usually, and it's made available usually through a subscription fee or like a bill charge usually. So here's a video real quick. It does a really good job of explaining exactly what the cloud is and kind of how it works.
When you save things to the cloud, where does it all go? Put simply, the cloud means services delivered over a network, like the internet. Cloud storage is a service model in which data is backed up, managed, and accessed remotely, usually over the internet. Users typically pay for their cloud data storage on a per gigabyte monthly rate. So the more data you have, the more you'll have to pay to keep it stored in the cloud, and vice versa. Consumers are probably familiar with cloud services like Dropbox or Google Drive, typically for photos and documents. For enterprises, cloud storage is most often used for data backup, disaster recovery, archiving, and DevOps projects. There are three main cloud-based storage architecture models: public, private, and hybrid. Public cloud storage services provide a multi-tenant storage environment that is most suited for unstructured data. This market is dominated by Amazon Glacier, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. Private cloud storage provides a dedicated environment protected behind an organization's firewall, appropriate for users who need customization and control over data. Hybrid cloud is a mix of private cloud and third-party public cloud services with orchestration between the platforms for management, offering businesses flexibility and more data deployment options. What are your reasons for adopting or not adopting cloud storage? Let us know in the comments below, and please hit that like button.
All right, so he started getting into the types of cloud services. So there's the three most common models of cloud services that are used in companies. We've got SaaS, which is software as a service, PaaS, which is platform as a service, and IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. So SaaS, or software as a service, it's a cloud-based application software that you can download. So it's usually done on a pay-as-you-go type of thing. So you just pay as you use it, how much you use it, You get upgrades and updates as soon as provider adds them, which is a huge benefit of actually downloading this software. So all your data is actually in the cloud with this application. So you're not going to lose your data if anything happens to your physical computer or your hard drive or anything. So this is actually the primary model for most commercial software today, as we know. So moved into PaaS, or Platform as a Service. This is going to provide software developers an on-demand platform, which includes hardware, complete software, infrastructure, and development tools. So basically, it's just going to help them with running, developing, and managing applications that they're working on. So without the cost of actually having to house the information and the storage and everything on premise. You do everything off premise through the cloud. It makes it a lot easier. So your cloud service provider is going to host everything. The developers are just going to spin up the servers in order to work on the application. So they're built around these things called containers, which are actually like a virtual operating system. And then this enables the developers to create the operating system with just the services it needs without a bunch of extra stuff, which is a huge benefit. Moving into IaaS, or Infrastructure as a Service, this provides access to physical and virtual servers, networking, and storage. So this enables users to scale the resources that they need on a as-needed basis. So as much as you need when you need it. You're not going to be getting too much, not too little. It's a good mix. This is actually going to reduce the cost of unnecessary on-premise infrastructure. It's going to really help businesses with cost that they don't have to have. So this is actually going to provide the users with the lowest level of control that they could be getting from the cloud. But it was actually extremely popular when the cloud was first becoming popular. So it's still around, but it's just not as popular as the first two we talked about. So there's actually different types of cloud computing. We're going to talk about the public, the private, and then the hybrid. So the public cloud, the cloud service provider is going to make the resources available to users through the public internet. The provider is actually responsible for the data centers, the hardware, and the infrastructure. This is usually provided through a high bandwidth network connection. So it's really quick to get the info to and from the cloud. So the public cloud is shared by all the customers. So let's think about Google Drive. If we're all using Google Drive, we're all sharing the same kind of cloud, same data centers, hardware, all that stuff. So a couple examples would be Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, the IBM Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. So this has become extremely popular, very popular through the last decade, and it's becoming more and more popular as more people find it convenient to use the cloud. It's very popular because it's easily scalable to the level of work. So you could be a student like me, or you could be a CEO of a company, and you could scale it up to your business's needs and everything. It's very popular for business because of the different workloads that different people have. So it's very scalable, very easy to use, and plus a lot of the times it's free. So moving into the private cloud. So all the infrastructure of the cloud is actually being used by one customer. So this is going to combine the benefits of the public cloud into a private sector. What does that mean? So it's going to have added security and privacy, and it's going to give you a lot more control over the information coming to and going to your computer. This is usually hosted actually on premise of a company in their data center, but it's also hosted independently in a cloud service provider's infrastructure. So it can be on premise or off premise. So this is actually easier for companies to hit their compliance requirements when it comes to things like confidential info. So a lot of companies deal with a lot of private information, so they want to make sure it's safe. Not anybody can just access it. And it can be the private cloud can be moved between the public and the hybrid cloud. So what is the hybrid cloud? Basically, the hybrid cloud is a combination of the public and the private cloud. So it's going to connect the private services and the public services into a single flexible infrastructure for running different workloads, pretty much. So the goal of a hybrid cloud is to create a mix of public and private cloud like resources with a level of like organization to them. So you're trying to find the right balance between a public and a private. No, not 100% public, not 100% private. So let's talk about the benefits of the cloud in businesses and companies, around the world. So businesses, they can guarantee a reliable disaster recovery. So a lot of times you don't have things backed up to a physical server. Let's say that the server gets wiped out or something happens to it, or your hard drive or something goes wrong. It's gone. A lot of times it can't be recovered that easily. However, if you were to back it up to the cloud and something happens to your computer or your hard drive or anything else, it's easily can be moved from the cloud to a new device or a new hard drive. So this is actually very easy. It takes a lot less time to back your things up and get things back. So since there's no physical servers, there's actually a good level of security to it. It's very flexible, almost unlimited bandwidth and storage. This removes the need to purchase a lot of new equipment and upgrade that equipment as time goes on at your company. Better collaboration between coworkers and employees of your company. This is going to significantly increase the teamwork for people who use the cloud. The cloud is also very scalable. It's designed to be scaled to businesses changing workloads and needs as the company increases in size, especially in the IT department. So it also is going to help with big data analytics. So the cloud has changed how big data is collected and stored. It makes it a lot easier to collect a lot of information, store a lot of information, and then move it around a lot easier. A couple more benefits of the cloud in today's world. Entertainment. So companies like Netflix and Hulu, they have huge, enormous areas of storage of movies and shows that's in the cloud. They keep all that in the cloud, so you're able to stream it, able to do what you want with it. And also backups. This is probably the most important thing about the cloud. So it's very important for the issue of data loss and how you recover your information when it's lost. So it really takes away the stress of losing irreplaceable files and things like that. So in conclusion, the cloud is very convenient, very reliable, very easy to use. So we actually have on-demand access via the internet. Anytime I want to access my information, as long as I'm connected to the internet, I can take it to and from the cloud. So there's cost and there's business advantages, countless business advantages we just talked about. Really, it's going to help with the cost of your company, running your company, data storage, things like that. It's going to increase your computing capabilities. It's really going to increase how much work you can do, how you can do it, how quickly you can do it in a company. There's a lot of different types of services we talked about. There's many different types of cloud services that are offered. So whatever's right for you or your company, it's really going to help you out. And it just has a huge impact on IT and businesses in general. And it's still a new concept, even though it's been around for a while. It's still improving every day, and it's becoming more and more popular in today's world. Thank you.